Alrighty, everybody, we are back for the final build of the Volvo 505 excavator by Bernie222. I've painted all the pieces, and now we're going to the final build. So we're going to go jump back to the overcarriage and start screwing on and gluing on some strategic pieces. Now, I'm not going to put everything together per se, like the top here, because I still have all the electronics and everything to put in here. So I won't be doing anything to the top, but we'll be putting the stairs on, finishing the cabin, putting everything in. I even got the little interior all painted up and everything. So, but on that note, let's go ahead and begin. We're going to actually put it on this side here and start putting on these panels here. And they just glue on. Nothing major, they just kind of glue on. We're just going to go use a little E6000 here. A couple dabs. Okay, but we're going to put the stairs on now, which is consisting of some M38 self-tappers. Can hold you like that, put you like that, so I can work with you. Alrighty. Before I forget, I made up these LEDs. They're 5mm whites with 150 ohm resistors in them on the negative side of the LEDs. And I kind of honed them out nice and pretty like. And I did drill a hole. If you see underneath here, there's going to be a channel. And right in here, I drilled a hole because this channel is for the inside here, and to run the wires. So what we're going to do here is kind of fish this in here like so, and then press the LED into the socket like so. And then I'm gonna take this and then run it into the cabin here. Okay. Now I cut myself some extra wire here, you know, just so I don't know where I'm going to be setting the board. I don't know where I'm going to be setting that in yet. Alrighty, do this side. Okay, well, I didn't realize this. I need to take some paint and paint that. I'll take some black paint and I'll paint that. Yeah. All right. Alrighty, so the stairs are on. That's on. So okay, so now we can flip this over. And now we're going to put the bottom plate on here. And we can cover all this up. Alrighty, alright, and we will be back. Alrighty, everybody, we are back for the next step here. Now, as you can see, I kind of already mounted the overcarriage to the undercarriage. And, yeah, by the time I was trying to figure out how I was going to do it, I was trying to not be able to take all of the bottom hardware here off. I was trying to avoid that, but that didn't quite work out. So I wound up just trying to figure out a way, and by the time I got figured out a way, it was already in spot. That I wasn't about to take it all back apart and try and you know, put it back together to show you guys. All I have to say is when you get to this point in building this and mounting the overcarriage. Okay. Okay, like I was saying before I had to let the dog out. When you get to this point of mounting the overcarriage to the undercarriage, you're just going to have to be a little strategic on how you're going to do it. Bernie222 does have a good way you can watch his YouTube channel and see the way he did it. But this here, yeah, you're just going to have to get creative and how, because I had this in my lap. I was flipping it all over the place, and right now, this thing probably weighs about 5 to 6 pounds. It's getting heavy and heavy quick. So, yeah, sorry I didn't put that on video to mount this everything. But by the time you get to this point, you should have it figured out. So we're just going to move on, and we're going to mount the boom assembly and everything on this right now. Now I wound up cutting some M5 threaded rods. Let me get my here, so I'll tell you what I'm doing here. The one for the top brace here. I tell you, I can probably zoom in a little bit and move this over some. There you go. The top rod here for the top part here is, I believe, 75. Yeah, 75 millimeters for this here, and then an 80 millimeter M5 threaded rod for the ram. The 115 millimeter ram will get slid into here like so. Okay. All right, but we're going to hold off on that for a moment because we're going to put the whole boom on here. So let's get this up here. And let's try and mount this in the spot here. And then we're going to put an M5 nut on the opposite side here. I'm going to put an M5 nut on the opposite side. Alrighty, now I have another M5 threaded rod right here, and I believe this one is 70, about 75 millimeters long. So now we're gonna take our stinger here, raise this up in the spot. Alright, these look good. And then what we're going to do is actually when I get all this mounted on, then we'll come back and we'll put the motors on. And then because one goes here, one goes underneath here, one goes on the front side over here, you know, so and then we'll run the wires, because I don't know how long my wires are going to be yet until I had all this put together. So but yeah, so tell you what, now let's take the next step here. All right, we're back, and we've got the boom all on. Boom, and the stinger. All right, now what I'm going to do is roughly run the wires for the motors back to the electrical bay here. So we're going to start with the top one here, and just kind of, now I have 16 gauge wire, black, because I want to represent the hydraulic lines. So that's why I got all black instead of the like a regular black and red for what you see on the inside here. Just so it'll look nice, and I think that'll be good. I think that'll be really nice. So what I'm going to do here is just kind of roughly kind of string it in there and kind of get a rough idea on how much I need. Just and go a little bit over on it, because you don't know where you're going to be over here, over there. You know, and then how far you got to go into here, you know, and then just take into consider the routing of it. So we're gonna go with there, and then get my cutters here, and I think that'll be a good start right there. Let's make a duplicate of that. That'll be for the top one here. Okay, and we'll just kind of set you right there so we know where you go. Now for the bottom, he's gonna go, you're gonna go up here, aren't you? I think these come out here. Yeah, so here, let's kind of back it up a little bit here so you see where I'm aiming at here. Okay, yeah, you got two holes right here that feeds the bottom motor. So we'll give ourselves a little slack, and then just kind of run it underneath here. Tell you what, actually, let's start from here. So I kind of know where I'm aiming for here. All right, so And then actually that's good. That's good. I give myself a little bit extra there. Okay. This is for the bottom motor, so we'll just kind of group these together. Alrighty, set that off to there. Alrighty, now for the last one is the stinger for the bucket motor. And if you see over here, we're gonna have two little holes right in here, you know, that go over to the front side there. So we're gonna go from there. All right, we have our 3 sets of wires here. 1, 2, and 3. All right, small, medium, and large, pretty much. So now what the next step is to actually get them wired up onto the motors here. So let's move this out of the way. All right, everybody, we are back, and we are set up to put the wires onto the motor here. I'll kind of get a little bit better of an angle here. Okay, first thing we got to do is tin the ends here. So now we'll just kind of, that's the long one, so this is the bucket. So we'll set you off to the side because we're going to do the boom first. So let's take some, let's take this one here. Alright, now we're gonna take the motor mounts here and actually hook them to the motors here. Okay, alright, tell you what, those are those. That's mounted there. Get back in the frame here, that's mounted there. Just like that, with some M3 12s, and that's mounted there. So, tell you what, let's kind of clean up and bring the overcarriage over. Alrighty, we are back. I got everything set up here, and now we're gonna put in the motors for this. So we're going to start by sliding this into position here. It's going to be kind of a tight fit here. There you go. Okay. Then we're going to use an M350 screw. We're just going to run it right into the side here and out the other side. Then we're going to use an M3 lock nut on the other side. Okay, nice and snug there. Okay, and then we take our motor cover plate here and we run our wires through the holes. Gonna fit it down in the spot there. And then we're gonna take some M38 self tappers. And let me change up bits here. And screw in the back. Okay, that's looking pretty good there. Now we're just gonna run these back through here and just kind of hold off into there a little bit. I still don't know how I'm gonna run all this. I might make up something to try and kind of hold these down here and make it nice and pretty, you know. All right, well, let's try and get the bottom one in now. Alright, it looks like we're going to use some more M350s and run it through here. I'll line up these holes, that's for sure. Let's get a poking utensil. Alrighty, got kind of complicated here, so kind of turned the camera off because my battery was getting low, but here it is. I got the motors mounted. This is the stinger or the bucket with some M3 45s here. Actually, I put some 50s in, but I have to cut the other side off there, and as you can see, and cut those sides off. And then got all the wires ran for it, so now it's looking actually pretty good here. So now I got this big bundle of wires back here that I'll take care of, but at the moment that's actually all mounted up and everything. Got the got those two there. Got that mounted onto there. Kind of goes up and down there. So alrighty. So we'll end it here. I'll let my batteries charge and everything, and yeah, we'll go back and then we'll put the rams on and the rest of the hardware down here. So yeah, we're making it work. So, alrighty, until next time. Alright, everybody, we are back, and we're going to put the screw rams on now, which consist of the 3, 2, all these here, and we're going to mount them in the strategic spots. But I think first we're going to start off with putting the universals on, and these are I believe 6 millimeters on one side and 8 millimeters on the other side. So tell you what, we'll just take all these set scrub screws here. Back in here. Okay, so we're just gonna take one of those out. Gonna get some Loctite here. we're going to start off with the top one here. Now what we're going to do is put the longest ram on, and I'm going to be using a M5 by 50 screw. You probably could get away with a 45 or maybe even a 40 screw here, or you can use an M5 threaded rod. I'm not going to cut a threaded rod for this. I'm just going to run this through and then just cut the tip off when I cut the rest of the studs off that needs to be removed. Alrighty. And we're going to put a M5 lock nut on the back side of it. To get the proper length that you need for this, what you got to do is pretty much run this all the way in. Okay, all the way till it hits the bottom. Don't force it, just give it a little bit of a play there. So when it hits, I'll back it off maybe like a half of a turn. And then take your stinger, bring it all the way down so you don't pinch any wires. And that's going to put the let's see, get a good shot here. Gotta hone in here a little bit. Okay. When this is all the way collapsed, your universal and your screw cylinder here is going to touch. So what you do is, let me get yourself a marker here and make yourself a mark where the end of the universal is, kind of like so. Now you're going to actually put limit switches on here and everything, which will stop it from going too far. Okay, so now what we're going to do, back this all the way out. Okay, and we're going to set this off to the side, and then for the moment we're going to put the rest of them on, because they're kind of easy here. So let's Alrighty, now we choose the 115 millimeter screw rod here, or screw cylinder, and we're just going to slide this in here. No nuts or screws are needed, because it's actually held in by the cab and the stairs here, so it won't slide out. Alright, well, it kind of looks like that since I'm kind of bottoming out here at the other screw. I'm gonna make a judgment call here. Where's my Sharpie? Because I think if I bring this up to it, it's gonna mesh up to it. So this gives ourselves a little bit. If we have to cut some off, we can. So I'll make a mark right there. Okay. Alrighty, well, let's see if this thing goes up and down. Got a little 12-volt battery here. Do a little bump, make sure we're going in the right direction. Wrong one. Alrighty, we all work. Holy cow. Okay. Alrighty. We are all on. I don't have the bucket on yet, but there's that. You got that on. It's under its own weight now. I don't know, I still may have to put some weights in the back though to kind of counteract it. I think it's forward heavy now. So I'll start putting some weights in the back. But yeah. Alrighty. Next thing we'll do is we'll put the bucket on. Alrighty, everybody. We are back and we're going to start the last procedure of putting the boom and everything on the overcarriage. So we're down to the last pieces, which are the simulated hydraulic rams here. So we're going to start off by putting the tubes, the hydraulic tubes and everything onto the rams. So we're going to start off with a couple M26's self-tappers here. Let's get a couple of these out. Let the dog out. Alright, get one more out here. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do here is just take one of the hydraulic tubes here and take an M6 and M2x6 self-tapper here. Let's go ahead and put it on. Alrighty. Looking good. And then what I may do is take some black wire, put it on, because there's little holes in here in the bottom. So I'll glue some of this black wire into the bottom here, and then run it into the cab there to simulate hydraulic lines. But that's it. That is it. Now the next part is moving on to the electronics. Alrighty, everybody. We are going to start the last process of the full build here, part 1, which is the cabin. And it's pretty much simple. The only difficulty is trying to cut out the windows. And what I pretty much did was kind of lay out my my plastic, my clear plastic. Let's get this one. And then pretty much just draw it out, just like so. Yeah, just kind of laid it down, put it over it, you know, traced it out in the blue, and then what I did here is then just cut along the outside of it, and then just pretty much cut the fit. That's all, you know, and then just make it look nice and pretty. And then you move on to the next one. This one here is actually just this little small one here. So yeah, I'll just put a little glue in some strategic spots, and go ahead and glue that in like so. And then this is going to be a little interesting to get that to stay. I cut it a little small there, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. So what I'm actually doing is just using a little E6000 here, and try and maybe just get it to stick as best I can. I think Bernie 222 used a soldering gun and just kind of stitched it in the spot there. So but I don't know if I want to do that. I want to try this stuff and see what it's all about. I guess that's why I'm actually using it, you know. Pretty much why I'm using it. And then once we get this in, then we'll go ahead and put the lights in. But I got lights for this. And we'll let that dry up a little bit. And then the next step is to put the LED lights in, and with a little hot glue here. So what we'll do is I got some 3mm white LEDs with a 150 ohm resistor tied into the negative side of the LED. So, now you got to cut a hole if you intend on putting light. Alright, you got to cut a hole if you intend on putting lights on your on the overcarriage here. So I drilled a little hole right here just to make that happen. So what I'm going to do is just kind of drop this bag down into the hole, and that'll give you your feeding point into the Alrighty. Alright, that sits there. Then there's 3 screws underneath there that you screw into. And that's it for the cab. And then the rest is all the electronics. So, alright, well that's end of part 1. And so we're gonna come back and then start in on the electronics. So until next time.